signs. 28. 28 moon signs. I'll show you this.
You say you're going to reproduce the book?
Yeah, to reproduce the book.
How much are you going to charge?
I know. Let me think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I have a master's copy. And you guys are going to have it. Even this symbol here. Alright, this is the statue of Kunyin. Alright? Alright. Right. There's 12 arms. There's 12 hands representing the 12 signs of the zodiac. It's a symbol. Alright? Representing. So these symbols, even the word nigger. Alright?
On that symbol?
This is also naga. Alright? There's nagas. Alright? Representing a serpent, dragon, or snake. It's a symbolism. It's all symbolism. A snake, what a snake does, it what? Sheds its skin. So that represents the regenerative force in nature. That's what that is.
What I'm asking is, one of those words is called not nigger?
Yeah, that's the word nigger. Alright? This is Sanskrit. This is Khmer. Alright?
Yeah, but I just want to make
And what did the kings wear and queens wear? Had at the top their pineal gland, snake.
Yeah, the upper and lower ear.
Yeah.
Wow. And the snake and the eagle.
This is Christianity. The Romans suppressed it. They took the word Christianity out of the original. So, see, this is why it's important to know language, because the Romans, they take the word, claim ownership of it. Until now, they're dictating to us what the word means. So to regain the power, we got to what? Reclaim the power, because the power is in the true history and knowledge of the word. So we can't allow these Romans to tell us what something means. We're not coming up with new meanings. They came up with new meanings. The meaning, the word already has an ancient meaning. We're unearthing the ancient meaning. They are the ones that came up with the connotative meanings to suppress this knowledge. Alright? So, what I'm going to do is Taj is on his way, and I can set everything up, and I'm going to come back on.
Okay.
I can come back on at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
All
So
right.
farms and agriculture.
Yes,
Okay.
because a bull was used for pocket flour.
Okay.
Alright? So there's an agricultural significance to that.
Okay.
Alright? And then with agriculture, you also have astronomy. They're connected. Astronomy and ag is one.
Right.
It's not agriculture and astronomy, no.
Right.
You can't do agriculture without astronomy. It's not going to happen. Because you got to know when to plant, when to harvest. Alright? Yes.
Taurus is the fixed part of the spring.
Right, and this is also an age too, the age of Taurus. Moses. This is connotative. Moses. What did the Hebrews have? Speaking connotatively, the Hebrews had a golden calf. Alright, the golden calf is the age of Taurus. It's an age.
Okay.
So you see, when the age comes around, you see an emphasis on that particular animal, representing that age. Alright, so now you have, you went from the Lamb of God, who went from the calf to the Lamb of God. Lamb of God is the age of Aries.
Right.
So you went from an age, from the age of Taurus, this is in retrogression, to the age of Aries, to the age of the fish. It's all astrology. It's Pisces. It's all astrology. So now you have what they call the Son of God, or the Lamb of God, hanging on the cross. But that's astrology. And since 80 AD, that decision was made at the Second Ecumenical Council to replace. See, when you see practices has their origin. You see people slaying lambs. Well, the slaying of lambs has an astrological origin. How did that come about?
Years.
Right.
Can you give me that year again?
680 AD, Second Ecumenical Council. We have 325 AD, the first council. All right. Then you have a Second Ecumenical Council, 680 AD, and that was that.
680.
680 AD. That's when the Romans decided to outlaw the slaying of the bull, slaying of lambs, and then they said they were going to use the cross as a form of torturing, human torturing. That's all. But it has a. See, what we do is we have to learn to trace its origin. When we read their writings, the Romans' writings, we read in connotative, distorted references. But we don't have the knowledge of etymology, history, and law, so we just take whatever they say as being truth. Whatever they say, that's what it is. Because when I was in school, I work at a high school, and I've been teaching a few teachers, and they've been using this lesson, teaching the students. I'm dead serious. This is taught at Woodrow Wilson High School. Moorish history and law is taught at the history class at Woodrow Wilson High School, 6th period and 5th period. He has had me as lesson speaker. He's been using lesson book number 14 in his classroom. So I have had an influence on him and other teachers. So he said that he showed them a documentary on Kanye West. Kanye West wears the symbol of Tahuti, right? And then he said that the narrator made a reference that Masonry is evil. And I said to him, well, what I would do is I would not talk about Kanye West being evil. You had me come in, and I said I wouldn't say to them, well, Masonry isn't evil, because that doesn't mean anything to them. They would just look at me as my mere opinion. What you have to do is what I said to him, this is what I would do. Because that's why I said, oh, Masonry's not evil. That doesn't mean anything.
Are you going to, what was the first?
325 AD.
325 was the first.
And
Oh, 325 AD, I thought that was a Nicene Council.
that's it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a succession of councils.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now, what I told him what I would do is teach them system of analysis. Because when they hear something, they have to have a system of analyzing it. So when they hear that Masonry is evil, they don't have a system of analyzing what is said. So what I would teach them, the connotation, denotation, all right? Teach them how to properly use a dictionary. Teach them the 7 liberal arts. That's what you have to do. By saying Masonry is not evil doesn't mean anything to them. You're not going to be affected by doing it. You have to show them, all right, through language, how the words have been distorted. And that's what I would do. And I've been effective over the years doing that method. By simply saying that Masonry is not evil, that doesn't mean anything. You're not saying anything at all. Because they're going to take what the Europeans say. But if you give them a system, I taught this to 7 brothers. I had a class 2 weeks ago. And one of the brothers asked me, Mr. Bey, are you a Muslim? Oh, yes, I have Muslim tissues and bones. I'm also a Christian. So, huh? So I broke that word down. All right? I explained to them, gave them the origin of this, and took that to its ancient form. And they were attentive. I mean, these are guys these are drug dealers.
Wow.
In the school, they drug dealers, pants hanging down, everything. And they were attentively listening. All right, so I showed them the Coptic cross. All right? And because what they were saying to me, that I said to them that what they're dealing with is modern meanings. I'm dealing with ancient meanings. So I understand where they're coming from. They're coming from a connotative position. So don't dismiss what they're saying. Classify what they're saying as modern meanings. That's the key. And this is where understanding of denotation and connotation will come in. Because when you look at, if you understand denotation, that means the signifier, the pointer, the reference point. The word chair denotes this object. And what the Greeks did during their method of interpreting out of the Hebrew was apply an abstract concept to that which has concrete reference points. So that began with the Greeks of dumbing us down. So now, so when we say chair, it's something else. They remove the reference point. All right, go ahead, brother. You have a question?
No, in reference to the lamb.
Yes.
It's actually the sacrifices when the age of Aries, well not the age, zodiacal sign of Aries comes in, and the ram is basically ran into the earth at 90 degrees.
Exactly.
Bringing in
That's
the equinox.
exactly. Right. So what the Romans did was remove that reference point, that not astronomical reference, and said that it was a man, and called the man the Lamb of God. So I would wear a cross with that figure on it. What? To spark conversation. Because the cross, that figure on the cross, has an astronomical reference point. Don't dismiss it. I mean, we throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? The power is knowing the origin of it. I mean, if somebody was wearing, oh yeah, you wearing, and they'll start explaining what it means, that's where the knowledge. I talk to pastors at my job, doesn't matter. They say, Mr. Bey, you go to church? Yeah, well, the word church, whatever word they throw at me, whatever word they throw at me, I take it to the origin. If they say Holy Bible, church, Christian, God, Jesus, Moses, whatever word they throw at me, I take it to the origin. Because what they have done, see, the Europeans, even though all Europeans don't have this knowledge, they still benefit. They benefit from the connotative references. See, the connotation keeps them in power. The true meaning restore power to us. So they'll say, well, oh, that's old means. That's old means. Right. Because they know that the old meanings or the true meaning of words will restore the power back to us. Because what it does, it'll expand your consciousness, your spirit of understanding, spirit of references. It will tap into the ancient cellular memories. I mean, we already know this knowledge. But what the Romans have done was suppress our divine mind through connotation. They did it linguistically. And they used politics to back up what they did linguistically. The dictionary. They control the dictionary. So what we do is, and what I'm doing that I brought in, I'm bringing in people who can go beyond this etymological brackets in the modern English dictionary, because it doesn't go beyond the Greek. Nothing goes beyond the Greek in the etymological brackets. This is also limits us. So what we have to do is start looking for etymological dictionaries. A Greek etymological dictionary. I told Rob to get a Hebrew etymological dictionary, Latin etymological dictionary. Those Latin English dictionaries are weak. Don't take my word for it. Cassell's Latin English dictionaries, get a Latin etymological dictionary and an English etymological dictionary. I told Sister Amexem, one of my students, at Passing, that we had classes at her house on last Friday. I told her that she speaks Spanish, and I said to her to get a Latin etymological dictionary, and she had one of those Cassell Latin English dictionary. I told her to look at the word consider, desire, and disaster in that Latin English dictionary. And what they gave her was connotative meanings. The translations are not exact translations. But if you don't know etymology, you're going to go, oh yeah, I got Cassell's Latin English dictionary, man. I know something. No, you don't. Because all you want to get is what? Connotative translations. All these have references to star. All these words denote star. So what the Romans did was what? Suppress its denotation, its pointer, its reference point. So we got to step up to etymological dictionaries and go beyond the etymological blackness in the modern English dictionary. Bob can do it. This brother knows he. This brother right here. I know he's been sitting here as a student. He's a teacher. This brother is bad. He's bad. This brother is bad. He's modest. I'll say it. He's modest. He won't say all that. He's modest. But he studies. This brother knows the Bible. I mean, he knows the Bible, man. If you want to have Bible study, that's the brother right there. This brother bad. I have high respect for the brother. I told him in class Wednesday night that he's not my cat. He's my equal. Because he assists me. He's been assisting me for 3 years. He's been with me for 3 years. Actually, 2007. 2007. And I remember him in September of 2007. He would come up after class and let me know that he studied Hebrew. And it wasn't until the end of the semester we were at Hakeem's bookstore. Very cold night. It was at the end of the semester, at the end of December. And we were there. I was there about closing time. I dropped some books off, and he happened to be there. And I explained to him the importance of knowing grammar. So though he knew the root word, but as far as inflection, he didn't know. So he's been studying grammar since that time. What he explained to me is his desire to teach the brothers the etymology of the word nigger, that would empower them. Since then, I've been teaching the brothers the etymology of the word nigger. Ain't in schools. So when they call me nigger, so what I do is I elevate it. I elevate the conversation to nagas.
Are you going to do that for us today?
Yes.
Okay.
Elevate the conversation. You take control of the conversation. The only way you can do that is to let them out. All right? So I'm going to start, because I have to set up, I'll have Taj start, and then I'll come on at 3 o'clock. All right?
Can you do the beginning again when you did with the tourists?
Yes. This is just rap, you know. I hadn't even planned it, but you know how that is. It's never planned like that, you know. It's always. I guess some of my better lectures is better on the spur of the moment. I had to come from Zuliaki at Pro Africa, and she couldn't make it the second week. And so I had that. Oh yeah, what I said was that this form of the letter A, all right, has an ancient origin, survived from this Phoenician form. It's the sign Taurus. So it has, and the book. I got this book from Taj years ago. All right, I copied it from his master. It was a yellow, a yellow cover. And I copied it from the master, and I had, I looked at it, and I wasn't at the level of really getting a full understanding of it. Now I am. It's like, for the past 2 weeks, I've been looking at this book again, and it's, you know, it's really I'm making a connection. Before I couldn't make the connection. Now, the title of this book, once again, is The Alphabet and the Ancient Countersigns, Astrological Elements in the Origin of the Alphabet. All right? So, when you see A, B, C, 4, and so forth, all right, you're going to think of astronomy. These have astrological and cosmological and astronomical reference points. Now, the letter A, all right, when they use the stripfo symbolium, they twist and turn it to this form. All right, stripfo symbolium. All right, that's a linguistic methodology. It means to twist and turn. So this form is twisted, turned to this modern form. Now the Taurus, the bull, it's a bull's horn. And a bull is used for agriculture, for plowing. That's what I said about that. And the bull's eye, the phrase the bull's eye is Pallades, surrounding the bull's horn. That's what the bull's eye is. So if you don't know, I caution you, if you don't know the origin of a phrase, a word, reserve it. Don't dismiss it. See, I don't dismiss anything. I look it up. All right? Because we'll say, oh, that's superstitious, then we'll dismiss it. We don't look into it. Oh, that's evil. See, that's another word that's thrown out.
It's gone. And in the Hebrew, Aleph also represents all.
Yes, yes, it does. And Arabic.
Yeah.
And Greek. And Sanskrit. You know, the word sin is the name of the moon. Assyrian name of the moon. So the Romans put a negative connotation, the wages of the sin is death. That's the name of the moon.
Yes.
So this is why connotation is not going to elevate us, my brothers and sisters. Connotation is not going to elevate us. And this is why I emphasize etymology. And I tie it to law, history, science. I have had conversations with the bilingual teachers, math teachers, whatever subject it is, I can deal with. Because etymology can be used in every subject matter. Math, because we got words. And so it's easy for me to talk to teachers. And students, not an issue for me at all. You know? So that's that. I'm going to have Taj on so that I can get a chance to set up here. And Taj will come on at 3 o'clock. All right? So I can go deep into this.
Good.
All right?
Islam, today we're going to go over the thing I did for the rally with people in Philly, because I met with the people with that coalition trying to stop that foreclosure. And they had a bunch of lawyers, and so they had given me a flyer at a meeting. Actually, when me and Brother Rick were at the mall. And so me and Brother Rick stopped past there, because I wanted to get some more information. And I ended up at the meeting, but the wrong meeting. So I'm going to go over that with you all. And so I went home because I couldn't sleep because I already knew these people were in trouble. Because this is the biggest sheriff's sale that happened in the history of the city, but that's not so much the point, in so much I recognize that even though they had all those lawyers there, that they was in trouble. Because they don't know who they're dealing with. And they don't know what's up. But they're dealing with emotions, they got all this rally, they got this organization, coalition, all these advocates, all these lawyers, and they're impressed with themselves. I already know they're getting ready to screw. So I came in, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So I went home and I did a quick questionnaire type thing for the rally to things that they need to know, knowing that they don't know what's up. So it's not like the discovery, but it enhances the discovery. Then I did a letter of reconveyance, which is when you really understand what's up. This is the ultimate position where you start orchestrating.
Thank you.
Where you all are pretty much at. Do you understand what I'm saying? Knowing that they had a short time. And so I'm going to explain to you what went down. And so I went yesterday and got a quick copy down at Staples so that I could be here earlier. And I wanted to give Sister Manira a copy so that she could copy something for you. But when I went back, I was doing other work, on the computer, talking to Annie, Dr. Ryers, some people from Canada, and I'm all over the place. But while going through it, I recognized a few flaws that I needed to fix. So I fixed them with the plan of coming here early today. Didn't get here, although I was up early. You know how that works.
Well, that's all right. We'll be here as long as we get.
So Brother Rod called, Brother Rod called and offered me assistance. So I was catching the train going downtown. So I got with Rob, and so we got hooked up. We got the water. Then we got this copy, and I'm giving it to her now, so that y'all can get that later, or as soon as she can get that and print it off. But I want to share it with you all to put you in the frame of mind Because this is the position that you're going to take whether or not you're in foreclosure, if you understand, and ultimately to save yourselves from the transfer, because they're making the transfer. You know what I mean? And yes, we've been telling people, but you kind of know they don't do it legally, in a sense.
I have a question. I was behind in my buildings, just like we're talking about. So I set all this up, all the writs, Attorney General, Pennsylvania, Washington, and the two CEOs of the company that I'm giving the writs to.
Yeah.
Now, those companies are changing.
Yeah, that's why they changed it.
I know, but the writs that I wrote up is for Wachovia.
Well, you send them to the company that's changing.
Now they're sending it to Wachovia, it's a new company.
All persons involved with you'll understand. Just get ready. Take notes. We're going to bang today. It's not things. We're going to bang today. Pay attention, please. We have limited time. When I'm over, I'm going to be hitting the road. Take notes. Now I want to open up. Part of this I did in Harlem the other day. So I went to the theater at Harlem because you know, they've been demanding, because I haven't been going up there for a while, but others have been running the class. But they've been calling and demand, you know, because you have a lot of scholars that come from Brooklyn, Queens, all over the place up there. And even some people come from Canada, and a few people flew in from California looking for me, and I ain't been up there. So I went up there, but I did fundamentally this because I'm recognizing, you know, it's getting compressed, meaning that we have little time. People are going to have to get these concepts together. If they don't, we can't stop it all. But the concept has to really rise quick. And it's a concept that should have already been clear generations ago. But since you have so many people defending those who betrayed Raleigh, who still running their temples, the information hasn't gotten out. So I'm going to open up reading from the Red Book. Who knows about the Red Book? Islam. Now, that should have been out. You understand? So I'm going to read a chapter from there. Now what I did, I went through it again last week while I was doing other work and fixed the grammatical errors. It was about 50 grammatical errors. I fixed it. I'm going to have them fix it, and I'm going to make sure the public gets it. Because it's their birthright. You know, and as long, excuse me, and as long, I'm going to make a stand for this. Who's this? I'm going to make a stand for this later. Give it to you. It's sort of like, this is what the sellout really is. The sellout is that the people are supposed to graduate. Islam was to be given to them in degrees. And they've been keeping the people in grade school, i.e. reverse church. And so the people haven't really developed politically, by industry, economically, and by international law as the movement was designed for them to do. They are incompetent to take their places amongst affairs of men, which has given the Union State Society mandate because they are holding the trust. Do you understand? So, what I'm doing is I'm going after the trust, but not the way the people have been told. Do you understand? Because the trusts are individual sister cues, collective and bundled. You understand? The U.S., United States democracy, is a private corporation of European colonists who have been metering, administrating the Moorish Empire. The last decision being made with the Berlin Conference in 1884, 1885. That's the last major meeting, although they've always had incremental meetings of the division. They were listed as dividing up or management of the Ottoman Empire, which is a cover-up for the Moorish Empire. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Did you say Ottoman?
Say it again?
Did you say Ottoman?
Ottoman.
Ottoman.
See, they in history they will write different names, like Brother Abdullah says, to blind you to what's going on. Just like they'll say the Spanish Inquisition is the Inquisition against the Moors. Readers, scholars know what it is. Those who ain't taught don't know what it is. Why Prophet Noah said, every temple must have a school. So Hoover told all the people that did like that, make sure you squander the finance so there's no schools. And tell the people no Drawley don't teach no civics. Although the Moorish Holy Temple of Science was registered as a civic organization to teach government. Do you understand? So these people could be taught those things necessary to make them better citizens so that they could represent and stand for their government in the affairs of men and claim their estate. Other than that, they're incompetent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which gives Rome a mandate. This is what our problem is. And this wall that we're hitting right now, the reason we're hitting this economic wall because the law was not carried out. Do you understand? That's why he said the time will come, the temples will come down to a little small squeezed, meaning that very few. He said, that's all right. They thought they got me. They might have slowed me down, but they can't stop me. He said, because I'm going to open the floodgates, and I'm going to send people in them temples with their eyes wide open. And guess who they're going to see? All the traitors. And they'll clean it up. They can't clean it up on emotion. They're going to clean it up with knowledge because they're going to know law. Do you understand? Because you can't fool somebody to know law. Like, dude, and etymology is law. You can't fool somebody who can read. Because once somebody can read, you can't hide. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But the point of it is, these are two instruments I did at emergency, so I'm going to back up. Apologize. Islam brothers and sisters, appreciate you coming. Take notes, please. Take notes. This is a reconveyance. We'll be talking on that more in the future, but I'm going to put it on the website. I had talked to Ross actually earlier, and I talked to Anna in Connecticut, and they're going to put it on the publications, document, etc., or also on the public record. Now, the public record is for all Moorish Americans, any legal cases they have, to post it so it's public. Because Drew Ali said, in order to change people, you must change their literature. One of the keys on why Hoover had their COINTEL agents to shut down all Noble Drew Ali's newspapers is so that you could not publish things. Because the key to your declaration is publication, not whether or not you follow with the county or someone else. You follow with the county because you have no other sources. The key in law is the publication itself. That's why Hoover had them shut the papers down. And then make sure the people didn't see a lot of the old copies so that nobody get inspired. Oh, why don't we do the paper again? Do you understand? That's why they've been collecting for buses for 50 years and there ain't no buses running around here with no crescent and stars on them. But they're still collecting for transportation funds. I got in trouble with my naive self, went out on 73 and got a bus for them. I became a pariah. I didn't understand. I figured it out later on.
You got a what?
Same here, brother.
I went and got a bus.
Bus.
It was a collecting for buses for all this time. Sisters got children, can't come to the temple.
Right.
I come in, you know, goodwill, thinking I'm doing right, thinking this is what they want to do. So I'm reading through all these literature, you know, I'm 6 months. Reading through all these, so I'm seeing, whoo, this brother's deep. You know, I'm running to all these people trying to get me to worship him. I respect and honor what he do. But I saw a different man. I saw a redeemer. I saw a man who's telling us to get busy, not sit around. He don't want you to sit around and worship him. He wants you to take these words and activate them. And if you don't, you become an enemy to your own cause. You cannot take this information emotionally. Because emotions get you in trouble. Put it in your back pocket, sit on it. Get real. So I went out on 73, and I'm seeing what the crowd was saying. So I went to that bus coming right on 73 in Cherry. It was actually Maple Shade. You understand? So I'm going to get a bus. Right? So they, buses, it costs a little bit of finance, So I'm getting a used bus, right? So the bus is like, if they wholesale it, it's like 12,000, right? So I get the bus for 3. I cut the deal, and no taxes. Because I know if you're a nation, then you go automatically in duality. Because I read the Divine Warning. The Divine Warning said, enforce the Constitution. So logically, that's where I'm going. I mean, I had a library since I was 7 and a half. I can read. And so if you're a nation, you are automatically Article 3, Section 2, diversity of citizenship. Because that's an international venue. And it says when it opens up, you must fess up to the constitutional fold. It gives samples of other nations, and they are bound to this. So are you. So when I went out there, I presented my nationality card, and wrote the taxes off. No big deal. I thought that's how things go. They got mad at me when I came back from Trump because I wrote taxes off. What you doing? That's not what we do. We Moorish Americans pay our taxes. I said, that's not. It took me a while. Took a couple of years. Kind of figured it out. I ain't mad. I found a round table and started getting this information out to the people so I wouldn't be under their jurisdiction. And I still go to the temple. You understand? But they're not going to control me. Because I'm not selling these people out. It's my family. You understand? Because we got a short time to get this stuff done because major destruction coming. You understand? But it's a whole bunch of us, I can tell you, but I ain't putting on no tear jerker game. Just telling you the blunt truth. Deal. U.S. corporation, foreign corporation, really Rome sitting in the West, managing the Moroccan Empire. Drew Ali stepped up, reclaimed the noble title, not as black, but as Moorish American. Right? Proper person. Questionnaire. How did the prophet, how did noble Ali begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. Translate that into law, in propria persona. As Drew Ali stood, in propria persona, sui juris. Competent, not only in his proper person, but competent to take care of his own affairs and affairs of his nation. Certainly, he is qualified as the noble, which is, of course, your title. Then he gives you, of the North Gate, the 2 noble titles of the North Gate is Elam Bey, although there are other nobles. There are 3 others, Day, Ali, right? Of course, Ali is on all north and south and central. The exalted. But most of your days and hours are in the South Gate and on the other side. But the major nobles of the North Gate are Elam Bey. This is why you're given Elam Bey in North America. It's a claim to the estate, because you must be in your noble title to claim the estate. Also to indicate competence. Because if you're not in your proper person, you cannot manage an estate. It makes you automatically a ward of who's ever controlling the jurisdiction. That's universal law. That's all over the planet. Somebody, you come up here, popping peanuts and trying to walk on the ceiling and they're going to let you govern some estate. Talk about you, that human beings are crayons. They're not going to argue with you. They're just going to dismiss you. Do you understand? So don't get angry, get real. Anyway, cut through the chase.
Can you tell us what Elder Bey and Day and Ali?
They're in your books. Yeah, because I don't want to get distracted onto that. Those are noble titles. There's 5. And they can say to you, well, 5 civilized tribes, they'll hide it that way, and then give you so-called Indian names, a whole bunch of other stuff. Those are the noble titles. Noble titles of the Maghrib. All right? Now, so me and Brother Rick were sitting in the mall, going over paperwork. So we all, because the brothers are always working. You all see them once in a while, the brothers always working, trying to do something for the nation. And so we get together, sometimes we structure stuff, and then we tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, then we share it with the people to help people who really ain't studying or really getting half of it. Because you've got to try to advance the people as fast as they can. That's why we do the writs, you know, for people who don't study. However, this is not going to be going on always. It's like a stopgap measure to try to cover a lot of ground real quick because these people have been cheated. They've been paying all kinds of dues, all kinds of fees, buying all kinds of packages, and being cheated by those who know, who won't just bluntly tell them the truth about birthright, that you can't sell it. You understand? So you can't sell an inheritance. You understand what I'm saying? To the heir. Well, don't get me started. Anyway, so me and Rick sitting in the mall. My niece and them comes through. So I'm talking to my niece and the babies and everything, you know, and we all happy and all this stuff. This guy comes in. Later on, we move over to some place. This guy comes in with these flyers for this rally that they're having trying to stop the sheriff's sale. And you know, most of the people's our people, gentrification, the usual thing. Dealing with the amen, emotionalism, crap stuff. We rolls around 112 Arch Street, or an arch. So this coalition's meetings up on the 11th floor. So tell Brother Rick, when we stop past there, since we down here, because the mall's, you know, just blocking halfway, you know, a couple blocks away. So we rolls up there, so I'm going to get information, you know, so see what I can do, because I'm busy anyway, but if I can help, so be it. So I stops past there, you know, goes through all the BSD signing and all that stuff. Anyway, so I get a little bit of information. They weren't too fired up, but a little bit of information. So I'm coming back to the next meeting. So I come to the meeting thinking I'm going to see all the people, you know, preparing for the rally. But I come to the wrong meeting. Meetings with the lawyers and some public officials, some advocates, etc. So they got this long oak table up there in the conference room. So I'm sitting on the side like they're all sitting on here, along there, and all these people sitting here. So it was the wrong meeting. But it was the meeting for the coalition. So they're going over everything concerning what the Republicans are doing, what the Democrats are doing, Washington, going over papers, blah, blah. You know, the whole deal. Going over different issues with Judge Denby and the things they're going through, you know, strategies and blah, 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 blah. So I'm at the wrong meeting. It's not the meeting for the followers, it's the meeting for the rulers, leaders. You understand what I'm saying? And lawyers. So I'm sitting on the side, so it's obvious I'm the only one there. But everybody else is sitting around the table. But they had an empty chair at the head of the table, right? So after a while, it's obvious. So it says, look over me, and one of the guys said, come on, sit at the table. I said, sit at the table. So now they passing around the envelopes, you know, the syllabus, you know, just like you do in any corporate meeting, you know, because when you take your business, take care of business. That's protocol, right? So I'm taking notes like everybody else, you know, and everybody, the lawyers are talking, the advocates are talking, the representatives from the city, and a whole bunch of other people. Meanwhile, then they go around, name, you know, what their positions was. So it's a lawyer, they name their names, name about 4 or 5 of them there. Some advocates, this Puerto Rican brother that's on the council, so on and on and on. So it gets around to me. Taj Tarik Bey, just a visitor just came through, just follow my flyer here. Oh. So now the meeting's about 4 hours, about 4.5 hours. So they made the mistake to ask me to speak. So I said, it appears to me there's no consensus here. with you. And I said, and all these other people in between, these people don't have a chance. I said, well, why don't you all just tell the bankers and the lenders to transfer the deeds of trust to the alleged owners? That'll stop the foreclosures immediately. Room went silent. Then after about 30 seconds, it became obvious and all these heads looking at me. Now I'm the neon sign, right? So the head lawyer said, you know, everything he says is right, but we don't have enough lawyers to deal with that right now. Next, and he skipped over. So I already know I'm a pariah already. I ain't supposed to be there anyway. So I already know what's up, right? I knew before I went in there because I read them from the day. Anyhow, I'm just trying to get through to help the people. So when I spoke, they know who I was. All right, so now here I am, Friday. So I know blocks are getting ready to come up, right? So now the next day, so after that's going, I'm leaving. One of the brothers approached me and said, "What's your name? What's your name? Oh, can I get your phone number?" I said, "No, I don't get my phone number because I can't keep up with it anyway." I said, "What do you want to know?" I said, "I'll give you some copy. I'll be back tomorrow." So I went home. I couldn't sleep. Went home about 5:30 in the morning. I got up, and then I did this questionnaire for the rally. Next day, I did this reconveyance. Me and Rick, we met, and Brother Matheno. We met downtown, ran over a little bit. A lot of times when we get together, Matheno will come, Brother Rick will come, and we'll go downtown at the Reading Terminal, we'll eat, or we'll be at the mall, chill. Sometimes we bring your sister with them, and that little sister's on. In her own, that sister's on. Hey, for real, for real, for real. That little sister, that's somebody. Check out who she is. Anyway, so we went over this, you know, a little bit, just talking, trading, ideas, etc. So anyway, so I printed this up the other day, called Manira, said I want to go over this. I did this in Harlem Wednesday. Wasn't enough time. People came from California and some other places. And as usual, when I'm going, I gotta go. So I left. So my mind said, deal with this. This is also some of the concepts that I was speaking to Sister Abigail and others, you know, but they have to get focused. You have to focus on what this is. Now, reconveyance is really what occurs when they're dealing with foreclosures. So I'm going to read this. So I'm telling you ahead of time what it's from so you will know the spirit that it's in. All right? It wasn't necessarily a specifically prepared lesson. It's the experience that is the lesson, if you understand. And what came out of it, nothing new to most of you, but conceptually, it may give you another view on what you already know, if you understand what I'm saying. Also to empower you. And because of the fact that I was trying to help them, you know, how do you help over 2,000 people who don't know nothing? And between them and you is 5 lawyers and politicians and advocates, and they're well organized, got conference rooms and literature and print machine people and all this, and you coming in, stranger, trying to help. You understand? Because I got this more than one time. If there's anything that you want to introduce, we'll have special meetings for that. We already have a syllabus. We got lawyers working on this. Translation, kiss the hand, you know, type thing. So when I left the other day, came up to that conference room, the receptionist sent me back. One of the guys who was there sent me back in the conference room. One of the guys was there, tall guy, I don't know what his name is anyway. Asked what I want, what do you want, who you want to see, act like they don't know who I was. I knew the blocks were going to go up. You know, like what you're doing here, leave comfortably, you know, making me feel unwelcome. Now the receptionist, she missed it because she wasn't saying one. So she let me through. So I'm around there, so I'm passing these offices, they're looking at me like, and then turning the other way, you know, like, Now one of the sisters was there that I didn't see her before. So the conference room was empty, same conference room, right? Now, so they changed the time of the meeting on the fly, right? I had no intention of going to the meeting, going over, because they're going over to the sheriff's office to talk to them. I didn't know what's going to happen. Anyway, they think I'm coming, keep on trying to interject. I ain't trying to interject. So I'm trying to leave. So the sister says, brother, can you stop me and just tell me a little bit, you know, something, you know what I mean? I said, you want to know? Mother, sister? I said, have a seat. I said, you're my sister, you're my mother. It's my duty to tell because you asked. Right? So we sat at the conference table. Meanwhile, the directors and everybody keep walking past it because they're uncomfortable. Because now I'm talking to this, probably someone who's secondary in line, who they didn't get to yet.
Yeah.
So I gave her a copy of this, gave her a copy of that. I gave her, so now write this down real quick because they're getting ready to come in here and stop us. I already know. She said, no, they won't. They don't mind because I'm. 5 minutes they came in, interrupted, stop. Anyway, so I told her to write down treaty of Verona, treaty of Verona, and I gave her my number. I said, don't give it to anyone, because I already knew the phone would be burned the next day. And I said, when you're going over there, you're going to take all them lawyers over there, Denby's not going to give you another stay. I'm telling you right now. And the sale will be on. However, any of these sisters that really want some help, make sure they get a copy. So Terrence, one of the guys, I knew his name, came in, he's interrupting the meeting, but we have to go, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I said, look, I want to make this very clear to you. I'm not competing for any positions here. I'm not competing with anybody's knowledge or your syllabus. I don't even want to come to your meeting. I don't want to be a part of this. I came only to help. Let me make it clear to you. But this is your remedy. Now, you don't have to have it. Sister wants it, can you make a copy for her, please? Well, we don't have time. Sister said, can I have a copy, can I have it? So you're going to make a copy for her. And I said, use it. This is it. So I'm going to read it to you. All right, take notes. Rally. Thursday, March 24th at noon. That's a whole experience. We went to the rally. Don't want to waste time going through all that. But that was interesting too. All TV, you know, Fox News, everybody was there. Politicians and stuff. Oh, please. I don't even look at that because it's another experience. A rally is a rapid reunion directed for a concentrated effort by an army, a group, a coalition, or body politic, etc., after repulse or being thrown into confusion, misconception, or disorganization. Because I already know they go to rallies and don't never read, they only know what they're doing, so make sure they know what they're dealing with. Logistics, right? Logical logistics, right? Military, right? This rally is the result of plans to stop the sheriff's sale of over 2,000 properties scheduled to be sold at auction, etc., on April the 5th, 2011. Among the sheriff's duties is the authority to execute writs according to the law. In this instance, the sheriff is enforcing the judicial jurisdiction and authority to execute, to carry out, and to discharge writs of execution and foreclosures. And the auction and sale is to be held on behalf of the corporate city of Philadelphia and in cooperation with other banks, corporate persons, and loan entities unnamed at this time. Now, you notice what I structured and how I said corporate Pennsylvania of Philadelphia, and in cooperation with other banks, corporate persons. You know why I said that? That's no, because it means collusion. It means conspiracy. But it's saying it without saying it, because it's to imprint in their mind what I'm going to give them next, without looking, you know what I'm saying? Hostile. The home and property owners have honorably sought relief and a stay from the sheriff's writs of execution, by way of the following. they are stressfully awaiting decisions made by others to conditionally apply for access to 105 million notes, etc. that has been approved to help pay the mortgages of the unemployed and the ill or impaired homeowners facing foreclosures in Pennsylvania Commonwealth. I'm going to tell you something about this after I read both these two, and make sure you take notes at what I'm getting ready to tell you when we get into the bookkeeping. B, HUD is still preparing guidelines for the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program, EHLP, which was passed by the Congress for the United States and scheduled to start October the 1st, 2010. C, the property owners are hoping that some sympathetic public servant or that an Article 3 judge will act to grant a stay or injunction stopping the writs of execution planned to be enforced by the sheriff, and thus stopping the scheduled auction sale of April the 5th to 11. Now, this is the information I got at the meeting, but I reworded it properly. They ain't talk about no Article 3 judge. I didn't. You understand what I'm saying? All right. They ain't talk about stay. I talk about stay and injunction. All right. Reality and fact. If the homeowners are subjects of the writs of execution, enforcements by the sheriff, and if they are ever to get justice and remedy, they should and must at least answer the following case-relevant questions. Facts about the following amenable questions must be known, answered, and disclosed. The homeowners, borrowers, and property owners should answer the questions with honesty, integrity, surety, and confidence. Legal notice. Remember that in matters of agreements, contracts, or fiduciary obligations, rules of law govern all issues in controversy. And this is of special interest in matters of legal dispute, in questions of ownership claims, in issues about rights of property, and especially in questions involving valid or invalid contracts. And the same principles apply to solemn oaths, trustee obligations, and matters involving the fiduciary duties of public officials and public servants. These principles apply in all mortgage and loan cases, which means I'm stepping beyond this issue and showing the universal character of this, so it don't matter where they are. All right? You know they didn't want to hear me anyway. If the property owners do not exercise your secured rights to discovery and disclosure, be aware that some less than honorable persons are bound to abuse or steal your rights through profitable corporate entities and thus steal your private properties. Mortgages and loans are governed by contract laws. It is the responsibility of the contracting parties to measure and to adjudge these instruments by the rules that govern contracts. And these equitable law principles supersede the present claim